Alright guys, exciting news. We have a brand new ban list just got announced. They also announced some missions for this, but that's not as important. We got a new ban list. Hopefully it's good. Let's go fully through it. I haven't looked at... I actually clicked on it, so I saw this ban stuff, but I haven't seen anything below this. So let's go through this stuff one by one. First things first, Rongo Miniad is banned. This card should have never been in the game anyway. And I don't mean like just... I mean in Master Duel. Like this card shouldn't have been in Master Duel whatsoever. There's not a situation where it's fun to play against or it's fair. There's very few ways to actually summon it anymore, but now you don't have to worry about even those very minuscule ways, and they can probably bring back the level 3 monster that used to summon it. So yeah, this card is gone forever. Yugioh is This one is one of the ones that mill 5. Obviously, it's a very good card. It really makes Tearlaments even better than it already is. Yeah, very good card. Obviously, it needs to get hit just because Tearlaments is just... It's still the tier 1 deck. It's still the best deck in the entire game, which is really crazy to say, all things considered, because... they've hit it so many times. They preemptively hit it. They hit it afterwards. They hit cards that are used in Tearlaments that other decks need. Like, they've hit so many cards because of Tearlaments, and this is another one added to the list, although this one really kind of deserved it. What sucks for me is that this card, I think it's a super rare, or it's an SR, and I actually have this card in... I actually have this card in Royal, so I don't even know what to do. Phantasmal Lord Bish Balkan. This card is affiliated with an FTK that's going to be available if certain cards come out. If this gets hit, I mean, it makes sense that this got hit. It kind of sucks for the people that do like the card, but what can you do? Block Dragon. This is one that a lot of people online were complaining about. I honestly don't know how... Like, this card is really good, and no one can deny it. It's probably... it's the best monster available to any rock deck. It's just crazy, and to any rock deck, any Adamancipator deck. But if we're being honest with ourselves, Adamancipator is like a tier 2, tier 3 deck. You rarely get to see it, but I guess since they are hitting Tearlaments as hard as they are, perhaps they want to hit the power level of some of the other good decks. So they don't want to hit Tearlaments so badly that like Adamancipator becomes the best deck again, because obviously they're not even in the rotation right now. So it makes sense that they would hit them. Tearlament Merly is a solid hit. Banned is a little dramatic, honestly. Banning Merly is a little dramatic because they only have 3 monsters. So getting rid of Merly is like a big deal. Yeah, they've got they've only got three mermaids total, which is kind of crazy. So one of the mermaids is gone. I'm surprised they didn't hit the one from the extra deck mermaid, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, this is a it's a wild hit. I didn't expect this. I would expect the extra deck monster to have been hit, the level 5 extra deck monster, but I guess this is one way to hit them. So I guess they lost Yugioh and they lost Merly. I think these hits are going to be quite significant because now it's way more likely that the deck bricks, because now you have Havness and you have the other one that activates on normal summon, but now this was their special summon. It obviously, that being gone, really hits the deck hard. Yeah, they lose two very important monsters. Next, limited Branded Fusion. Wow, that is shocking. Okay, I didn't expect that. Wow. That really hurts Branded a lot, because, I mean, yes, they have ways to recover it, but that is... It seems like every single time they find a way to hit Branded Fusion additionally. Like, they hit a Luber to 2, then they hit Branded Opening to 2, then they hit Branded Fusion to 2, now Branded Fusion's at 1. All of these cards eventually lead to Branded Fusion, and it just makes the deck more and more, like... susceptible to dying to a single Ash Blossom, which kind of sucks for the deck, because it's in the TCG it's had a it's had a completely different road in the TCG, where in the TCG it kind of has had the ability to survive, continuously kind of live on, because it just doesn't get hit, because they continuously just release better and better decks that power creep Branded, whereas on Master Duel and in the OCG it's gotten hit very hard. So Branded Fusion to 1, it actually really does hurt the deck significantly, because it's tough to play when you don't have access to Branded Fusion. So like I said, that probably, the deck right now is probably like at tier 2. I don't want to be dramatic and put it at tier 3, but like the deck, obviously that's a big hit, because if it gets ashed and you don't have a way to recover, you just like, you never get to go through your branded fusion line. It can really hurt. That Grasslick Screener to 1, this really hurts. Honestly, I think this is kind of like an overcorrection, because they already hit Block Dragon, they hit Algido, they hit, as I'm seeing here, Kelbeck. Like, they already hit all this stuff that would work in the 60 card deck. Now they're putting Grasslick Screener at 1, which you can search Grasslick Screener with Left Arm Offering. So I guess you play 3 Left Arm Offering, 1 Grasslick Screener. It's good. I mean, and you never have the chance of drawing 2 Grasslick Screener now, which is kind of cool. But yeah, Grasslick Screener to 1. It does hurt, but it doesn't make... It's not as big of a deal as you think, because it's already at 2 and it's just dropping it to 1. So you have a Grasslick Screener and then 3 copies of Left Arm Offering. So you have 4 copies instead of 5 in a 60 card deck. Yeah, it sucks for the people who are playing like 60 card Chaos or any basically 60 card decks. Honestly, 60 card decks are just really, really fun in general, because you can do so many different things. You could do 60 card Paleozoic, 60 card Chaos, 60 card Zombies. Like, there's so many different avenues that you can go with 60 card decks, and we just lose all that by losing Grass. I think it's one of the really cool parts of Master Duel is that we had access to Grasslick Screener, but I can understand why they hit it in a best of 1 format. If that card resolves most of the time, you just win. Kelbeck is another card they hit to 1. I believe this is another Miller, so we've got Algido was a Miller and Kelbeck is a Miller, so 2 of the Millers. One got hit to 1, the other one got hit to 0, so basically we have 1 Miller left, which is kind of crazy. 1 card that mills, yeah. That's going to radically change the way those decks are made. Sprite Jet got hit. This is the one that searches a spell or trap card on summon. They could have also hit Sprite Blue. Sprite Blue is better than Jet, because Jet, yeah, you can search out the quick plays that can special summon and quick play that can banish and stuff like that. But Blue would have been a stronger hit, and then Swap Frog also got hit, which again sucks for Totally Awesome. I mean, sucks for players that play like Paleozoics. I mean, their deck Paleozoics are just almost completely unplayable at this point. They don't have a boss monster. Swap Frog got hit. It's a disaster. They're in a state of disaster. But as far as sprites go, I mean, these are 2 pretty significant hits. The truth is, Swap Frog honestly didn't need to get hit. They could have just like semied something else instead. Yeah, they really didn't need to hit Swap Frog, because Swap Frog is only in one of the many variants of Sprite. But there's so many different variants of Sprite that it doesn't make sense to actually hit Swap Frog. And there are better options in terms of level 2s than Swap Frog anyway. I'm not really sure why they hit Swap Frog. That is a really, really weird hit. I understand Jet. I understand if they hit Blue. I understand if they hit like the Searcher or something. I understand if they banned Elf. Like, there's so many things they could have hit, but Swap Frog was a really, really weird one, because again, there's just so many different variants. Literally, essentially any level 2 monster that can special summon or special summon itself or is relevant in any way in the last 20 years of Yu-Gi-Oh can be used with sprites. Like, why Swap Frog? It's a decent card, but I think this is it's a weird hit. I don't think that should have happened. Semi-limit, so limited to 2. Blaster at 2, I think is pretty good. Blaster at 2, could be at 3, honestly. Blaster does almost nothing. It's not... it's probably the worst of the Dragon Rulers. It can definitely be at 3 and it wouldn't make an impact. It's cool because now if you play like a rank 7 deck that goes into Galaxy Tomahawk, this is just another weapon for you to use. Pot of Extravagance is actually to 2 is a pretty big hit for control decks. This is basically their only form of drawing. You've got decks like Labyrinth, which essentially this is their Pot of Greed. You have decks like Eldritch, this is their Pot of Greed. Like, any deck that doesn't care about the extra deck, this is their Pot of Greed. So hitting it is a significant impact on them. Same thing for like Fluundereeze. This is another Fluundereeze hit, but I always say this, no matter how much you hit Fluundereeze, it doesn't really matter, because as long as you have Max C and you're unaffected by Max C, it kind of makes the deck just naturally really good. Luster Pendulum, I believe, yeah, they just released some Pendulum stuff, so some new Draco Slayer stuff, so that would make sense why they would bring this off of the limited list, put it to 2. They could put it to 3, it wouldn't have that big of an impact. Alright, now cards that go to 3. I love cards that go to 3 more than any of this other stuff. I really care I like cards coming back more than cards getting hit on the ban list. So first things first, Nadir Servant, good card to put back. Dogmatic has done absolutely nothing since like the first month of Master Duel. Outside of the first month of Master Duel, Dogmatica has done almost nothing for the last it's almost been 2 years, isn't it? No, it's been a year and a half. It's been a year and a half, and it hasn't done anything in months and months and months. So Nadir Servant is a big card to kind of like lift up for them. It was at 2. It started off at 1, then it went to 2. Now it's at 3. So pretty cool for them. Ancient Fairy Dragon is another card that is a pretty cool one. This card, they released it back with an errata, so honestly, it could have gone to 3 right off the bat, and no one in their right mind is running 3 of these anyway. Most people are just running 1 of them regardless. It's a 1 of UR that is in your extra deck. No one is running 3. And then lastly is Gears Through the Orchest Mech Knight, which is another card. Now, it used to be limited to 1, and now it's at 3. How many cards are left for Orchest? I don't think there's... Galatea is at 2 or 3. Harpour is at, I believe, 3. This is at 3, and the honest truth is, I don't even know if this deck can really still compete. Like, it's a good deck, don't get me wrong, but the issue is I think it's a bit too power crept. There's just too many better decks available out there. It is nice though that the certain cards that really helped Mech Knights, that really hurt Mech Knights, like Algido and Kelbeck are, so this is limited to 1, this is banned now, so it's really nice that this got obviously hit on the ban list, because now that this got hit on the ban list, now that this got bumped up on the ban list, now that those 2 got hit on the ban list, they can't use the shufflers to shuffle back some of the Orchest cards, basically. So in a certain sense, this is a better environment for Orchest to be able to play. Overall, I think this has been a pretty cool ban list. They hit a lot of stuff. Obviously, some things I would have changed. I would have probably hit Sprite a little differently. And I think Tearlament, I would have hit not Merly. But, I mean, overall, I think it's actually a fairly good ban list. And, yeah, I like these large ban lists because it makes for a lot of interesting changes, and it really shakes up the metagame. A lot of the best decks are now a lot worse, which is really cool. So, thank you for watching. La 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 la.